Hey everybody, and thanks for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. Well, today is rainy, it's kind of slow, and I'm a little bored. So I thought I'd go through my entire Blu-ray collection and show... Just knocked it over. So I thought it'd be fun to go through my Blu-ray collection and talk about the movies that I own. If you like any of these movies and you want to share your collection, I'm welcome to do so down in the comment section below. And let's get a fun conversation going about movies. And with all that out of the way, let's start talking about the movies that I own. Let's start talking about the movies that I own. Some of these are Oscar nominees, some of these are Oscar winners, some of these are blockbusters, some of these are just nostalgia pieces that you think are going to be really weird for me to own, but they're part of my childhood, so I like to have them. Anyways, let's kick it off with American Sniper, starring Bradley Cooper. Pretty good performance from Bradley Cooper, pretty good movie. I really enjoyed it. I liked going into the PTSD when he comes back from war. I really enjoyed that aspect of the movie. I really enjoyed the story of this movie, and I really liked Bradley Cooper's performance. Up next is one that I'm ashamed to own, but I wanted to watch it, and I found it for really cheap at the pawn shop. And I can't really even say that I saw it, because Alien vs. Predator Requiem.
You haven't picked that up in so long, it's stuck.
I know, right?
One.
I haven't watched this since I bought it. It's got some of the worst lighting I've ever seen in a movie. It's got bad characters. Some of the Alien Predator stuff is cool, if only I could see it. Yeah, I don't know. I should probably just get rid of that one. I'm not going to watch it again anytime soon. Another one that I have is Alien vs. Predator, the first one. I think it's okay. I enjoy it. I actually don't think it's that bad of a movie. I like a lot of the action that goes on in it. It's a pretty generic kind of story, for sure. A science fiction story, but I enjoy a lot inside this movie.
I heard it was okay.
Aliens is a good movie, though. Aliens is a great Alien movie. It's probably my favorite Aliens movie, but it's completely different from the first one. It's really different from all of them, really, but I really liked Aliens. Aliens has fantastic action. James Cameron taking over the franchise was really awesome.
Probably the best thing that came out of the Alien series.
The original Alien is what we have next. Like I said, very different from the other Alien movie, very different from Aliens. Very suspenseful, very much a slow burn, slower than Aliens, not as action-packed, but the claustrophobic environment of the spaceship with the alien inside I really, really like. Up next, we have some older films. I love old film.
Same.
As I've mentioned before on this channel, and we have the Alfred Hitchcock 15 movie collection, I believe it's 15 movies.
Yeah, let's go! Hitchcock, yeah!
Which consists of Saboteur, Shadow of a Doubt, Rope, fantastic movie, Rear Window, one of my favorites, The Trouble with Harry, interesting, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Vertigo, North by Northwest, Psycho, one of my favorite movies, The Birds. Didn't really like that one, to be honest, even though I know it's a classic.
You hated The Birds.
Yeah, I didn't like it that much.
I liked it.
Marnie. Don't think it holds up very well, especially in this day and age. Torn Curtain. I don't remember it. I fell asleep. Topaz. It was okay. Frenzy. Family Plot. And a couple Alfred Hitchcock TV shows. Then we have A Star is Born, the new one. Talked about that one. I liked it. Then we have A Star is Born 1976. One of the older ones. Not the original one. There's one from 1936, 1954, I believe. So this is like the third incarnation. It does a couple stuff better than the new one, in my opinion. I think the new one dives more so into the rise of fame aspect, but this one dives more into the relationship, and I kind of liked the relationship more in this movie. I like the chemistry between Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga more in the new one, but I enjoyed how they did the relationship in this installment. Then we have The Artist. I've talked about that a little bit too. Great silent film from like present day, really. But it totally feels like it's from like the 1930s. A Quiet Place, fantastic thriller. One of the most unique theater experiences I've had. When I saw this movie, it was dead quiet. Everyone was afraid to make a sound. It was so effective, and I really enjoyed watching that in the theater, and I love watching it at home as well. Aquaman, we've talked about that as well. You came with me to pick this up. Airplane. Airplane is a really funny spoof movie from the 80s, I think. Yep, 1980. From 1980. A lot of it still holds up for me. I find this movie to be pretty funny. Not all of it holds up. There's a couple of gags and bits that don't hold up for me, but I really like Airplane, and I find it really funny. Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura. I am a Jim Carrey nut. I love Jim Carrey. He's my favorite actor, and I love Ace Ventura. Very over-the-top performance, but it totally works. It's a lot of fun. It's really funny. There's things in here that you could not do nowadays, but I still find it really funny.
That's honestly so true.
A Bug's Life. Not one of my favorite Pixar movies. I do like the movie, though. Although at the end with Hopper and the birds, as a kid, that scarred me. That was freaky. I can't believe it was just dark. 2001: A Space Odyssey is a movie that is fascinating, that just leaves you thinking. Not that rewatchable for me, but man, whenever I watch it, it gets in my brain, and I think about things. 50 First Dates, probably my favorite Adam Sandler movie. I don't know, I just really like the story of it, even though it gets a little weird. But I don't know, I found it, the way that they presented it made it feel, I could buy into it. And I just like the chemistry between Adam Sandler and, what's her name? And Drew Barrymore. So this is one that I really enjoy, and it's one of my favorite romantic comedies. Not my favorite, but one of them. 17 again, starring Zac Efron. This is something that I guess is from my childhood, watching in like grade 6 or 5. I can't even remember. But I really like this movie. And Friends is my favorite TV show. And Matthew Perry plays the older version of Zac Efron. And when Zac Efron plays the 17 version of Matthew Perry, some of the speech patterns and way that he says words and pronounces sentences is like straight out of Chandler Bing from Friends. I felt like he really nailed it and helps me buy into the character being Matthew Perry even more. So I really like 17 again. 10 Cloverfield Lane. I actually really liked this movie. I saw it before I actually saw the original Cloverfield, and I don't really like the original Cloverfield movie. It's just too much shaky cam for me. I'm one of those people that do get dizzy from the movie. But this, I thought, was a really great suspenseful thriller, and because I hadn't seen Cloverfield, I had no idea where this was going, and I really, really, just really like this movie. John Goodman gives a fantastic performance. He was freaky. Then I have a 9-film set of the Superman films, Superman 1, Superman 2, Superman 3, Superman 4. Wow, those ones get really different from the first 2 films. As well as Superman Returns. Then it got Batman 1989, Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin. We all know the stories behind those ones. We all know how people feel about those ones. I'm really no different. Batman and Robin is interesting. Very interesting. And Two Guns, a fine, okay kind of movie, not one that I'm probably going to rewatch very often, but I wanted to check it out. It was cheap, so I picked it up. And then we got the Marvel movies. I have talked ad nauseum about these movies, so I'm going to go through them very fast. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Avengers Infinity War, Black Panther, Thor Ragnarok. One thing I didn't talk about in Thor Ragnarok when I was talking about it in my review is Taika Waititi. Check out his underrated films, What We Do in the Shadows, and The Hunt for the Wilder People. I don't think those movies get enough recognition, and I really enjoyed them. Spider-Man Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Doctor Strange, Captain America Civil War, Ant-Man, Avengers Age of Ultron, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America Winter Soldier, Thor the Dark World, Iron Man 3, The Avengers, Captain America the First Avenger, Thor, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, and the one that started it all, the first Iron Man. Alright, so on to shelf number 2. We got Clue. Pretty funny comedy film. I really like it. I think it holds up based off the board game. I thought they did a pretty good job with it. Creed 2. Creed 2 is awesome. Really enjoy it. I feel like it should just be the end of the Creed story. I'm sure it won't be. I'm sure they got more up their sleeve, but I really like Creed 2. I felt like it was a good finale. The first Creed, I kind of like it more than Creed 2. And I actually saw this before I saw any of the Rocky movies, too. This is actually the movie that got me to go and look at the Rocky franchise, which I've been meaning to do for a while. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. Kind of fun little factoid about me. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Yeah, it's cheesy. It's a horror movie that doesn't really hold up with the horror. But it's kind of interesting to go back to these and see the makeup, see the costumes, and just know that audiences from this day was terrified of this and just how different times are nowadays. And I kind of actually still enjoyed the story of this, even like looking past all the effects of the time. I had a good time with this movie. I enjoyed it. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs from there goes the stack. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, something from my childhood. I still think it's really funny. I hate the sequel, but I like this one.
Sequel's so bad.
Citizen Kane, watched it. Can definitely see why it's quoted as the greatest film of all time, especially after reading more about it and knowing what techniques and camera angles and just story elements that it kind of introduced and revolutionized in film. And I thought it held up pretty good. I mean, of course it did. It's been talked about for years. Yeah, you totally needed my opinion
Since
to
the
cement that.
1941.
Yeah, I'm not revolutionizing that at all. Chronicle, I love this movie. I love the found footage aspect of it. I love that it's like secretly a supervillain origin story. I like the actors in it. I just really enjoyed this movie. I love the story, love the performances. It's just a fun time. I like Chronicle a lot. Christmas Vacation, a Christmas classic and a staple Christmas movie in my household. Really funny movie. Definitely holds up. Love this movie. Especially around Christmas time. Central Intelligence, talked a little bit about that. It's okay. Castaway. Castaway is fantastic performance from Tom Hanks. He basically has to hold the whole movie, just him on an island. He has to keep your attention, and he does a phenomenal job doing so. And he makes you care about a volleyball. I mean, how many actors can do that? That's my cat's tail. Captain Underpants. Nostalgia. That's all it is. Nostalgia. But I actually thought they did some creative stuff with this movie, even with the potty humor, which is straight out of the books. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Took my brother to it. We had a good time. Captain Phillips, another great performance by Tom Hanks, especially at the end when he's in shock. He does that phenomenally well. And based on a true story, I believe. And yeah, based on a true story. Really good. Really enjoy that one. The Campaign, not gonna lie. I heard this movie was funny by someone. I picked it up. Not gonna lie. I wasn't into it. I didn't find it that funny. I didn't really enjoy it. Don't even know why I own it. Forgot I owned it. Buried. Talked about that before. Definitely underrated. Check it out. I love this movie so much. Well, I wouldn't say I love it so much, but I definitely like it. Bruce Almighty. Again, Jim Carrey. Just a fun movie. And, you know, I am actually a Christian. And this deals with God and stuff, but I don't feel like it's mockingly doing so. I feel like it has a pretty good message behind it, so I actually enjoy this movie quite a bit. I don't feel like it's disrespectful in a way, if that makes any sense.
Why'd you put the keys?
It fell over. Brother Bear and Brother Bear 2. My sister got this for me, I believe, for Christmas. Nostalgia. I love these as a kid. And I just like... I think the story is still okay as an adult. But the animation I really enjoy watching again. I like that movie a lot. The sequel's okay. It was directed video and it shows. The Breakfast Club. John Hughes classic. Watched this one day on Netflix. Really enjoyed it. Really liked it. Classic 80s... teen movie. Boyhood, talked a little bit about that. Cinematic history, in my opinion. Jason Bourne, the technically 5th, I think, Bourne film. I never saw the one with Jeremy Renner. I heard it was terrible. I didn't want to watch it because it didn't have Matt Damon. But Jason Bourne was okay. It kind of basically just like restarted and tried to do the tropes and treads of what the original trilogy did, so it kind of felt unnecessary in that way to me. They never did make another one, and I can kind of see why, but it's fine. Bourne trilogy, the original trilogy of Jason Bourne. I like these movies a lot. I don't know which one's my favorite. I haven't seen them in a little while. I remember really liking the first one and the third one a lot. I don't remember the second one very well, though, so I'll have to maybe revisit that one. Bumblebee. We've talked about that. Bumblebee was great. My favorite Transformer movie, without a doubt. Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody was a really fun cinematic experience. I felt like I was witnessing the history of Queen just before my eyes. It was a lot of fun. One of the memorable theater experiences I have, especially the Live Aid concert at the end of this, I felt like I was at a concert. It was so well done. It was so great. And Rami Malek gives a fantastic performance. He was my introduction to who Freddie Mercury was. I didn't really grow up on the Queen music, so I didn't really know who Freddie Mercury was. He was my introduction to who they were, to who Queen was and who he was. Billy Madison, 90s classic Adam Sandler movie when his shtick of talking like this was still really funny. He's kind of overdone it over the years in my opinion, but Billy Madison's kind of fun. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, dude. I love Bill and Ted. Bogus Journey is my favorite out of the next one here is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Just the tones of these movies are so different from one another. And there's just, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is kind of like a fun, kind of family kids film. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is where it kind of becomes like a stoner teenage movie. And I don't know, there's just something about the vibe and tone and kind of darkness with these overjoyous, fun characters in this movie that I kind of gravitate towards this one more. But I love them both, and I can't wait for that third one that they're making.
But we can all admit the first one's the best.
Big Trouble in Little China. Wow, this is weird. I don't even know how to talk about this one. I have to watch it again because I've only seen it once, and I don't fully understand what happened. Just being honest. Big Hero 6, really fun Disney movie, superhero movie, and I just really enjoyed this movie. Baymax is adorable, and he's really funny. Big, Tom Hanks, 80s movie, 80s classic. He's a kid who wishes to be an adult, becomes an adult. Wow, the hijinks and shenanigans that ensue. Funny movie, another really good performance from Tom Hanks, a different kind of performance from Tom Hanks, and one that I really enjoy. It's a great family comedy. Ben Affleck 4-film collection consisting of Live by Night, The Accountant, Argo, and The Town. I liked majority of these movies. I don't think I didn't like any of them. Argo I thought was the best out of the 4. I really, really enjoyed Argo, and just the story of that was really cool. And then The Accountant was pretty cool. Live by Night was okay, and The Town I thought was okay as well, which I know is kind of like, you can't really say The Town is okay. It's a phenomenal film. It just wasn't something that resonated with me. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. I said his name 3 times, and here he is. Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton as... Yes, that's right. That's right. I'm keeping that in.
No.
That's funny.
No.
I like it. Michael Keaton as the main character. Really fun performance. Really weird movie. And also, for the title Beetlejuice, I didn't feel like Beetlejuice was in it all that much, which was surprising to me. Tale as Old as Time, Beauty and the Beast. I actually saw this movie for the first time when the live-action Beauty and the Beast was coming out, and it's like one of my favorite Disney movies now. I really like this movie. Just the story and the music in it and the animation and the colors. It's just so vibrant with the colors. I really like this movie. I like it much more than the live-action one that came out. Batman the Killing Joke. This is like one of the only comic graphic novels that I own. And once you get past the Batgirl weird short film that they put before this movie, this is a really very close and accurate adaptation of the comic graphic novel that I enjoy watching. I just have to skip through the Batgirl taking down that guy. I don't even remember what the plot was stuff. Batman vs. Superman. Style over substance, but a style that I enjoy watching. I think it looks really good. The Dark Knight Rises. Really like this movie. Tom Hardy as Bane is great, and it's just it's a good conclusion to the Dark Knight trilogy, in my opinion. The Dark Knight. What can I say about this? Heath Ledger gives a fantastic performance, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as hyped on this movie as everyone else is. I think it's good. I don't think it's like phenomenal or anything.
I don't like it.
But I understand what it did with the superhero genre, making it more grounded and stuff like that, but I'm just not as high as everybody else is about that movie. Batman Begins. I really like Batman Begins. Very probably the most comic book of the Dark Knight trilogy with the Scarecrow and everything that they do with that, but still a really good movie. Batman 1989, which I already own in the 9-set collection, so not much to talk about that. But I really like Michael Keaton, and Jack Nicholson as his version of the Joker is one that I really enjoy as well. Batman the movie. If you haven't seen this movie and you have watched all the other Batman films with the Dark Knight and stuff like that, go and watch this and just see what Batman was like in the 60s. Because he was different. He carried around shark repellent. True story. Baby Driver, my favorite film of 2017. Ansel Elgort is great. The music is great and incorporated very well into the film. It's got a lot of fun action. The only thing in the story that's weak to me is the romance. But other than that, I love this movie. Doc! It's Back to the Future!
No! Just say Back to the Future!
Back to the Future!
Oh, thank goodness.
The trilogy, one of my favorite, if not my favorite movie. I love this movie. I love the story. I love the trilogy in general. Number 2 gets a lot of flack, I hear. I love the second film. I love when they go back into the first film. I have a lot of fun with that. It doesn't feel like it's retread. It doesn't feel like the same movie to me. It's a lot of fun, and I really love the look at an alternate reality in the second film as well. And the third one is a Western. It's probably my least favorite in the trilogy, but I still really like it, and I like how it wraps up the entire 6-hour journey. Avatar, visually beautiful. I like the story. I know it's supposed to be like Dancing with Wolves and stuff like that, but I actually haven't seen those films yet, so this wasn't something that I could compare it to. And when this was coming out, it was like the biggest thing. I remember my dad and I tried to see this 3 times, and it was sold out each time that we missed seeing it in theaters. It was a huge thing. Revolutionized like 3D and stuff, and which, you know, I kind of hate this movie for because I don't like 3D. but other than that, this movie is really visually beautiful, and it looks fantastic on Blu-ray. Austin Powers, Gold Member, the third Austin Powers movie. I like it, but it's not my favorite of the films. I lost my mojo! Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, is my favorite of the trilogy. I really, really like this movie a lot. And it introduces Mini-Me, which,
the best part about the trilogy.
Enough said. And the first Austin Powers movies. And one thing I will say about the Austin Powers movies is that once you've watched the James Bond films, those movies are even funnier because what they're spoofing... Because once you realize what they're spoofing, the specifics of James Bond, what they're spoofing, it becomes a lot funnier to me. And now on to the third shelf, we have 2 movie packages, The Fighter and Warrior, both really good films. And Christian Bale in The Fighter is fantastic. He completely transforms from Bruce Wayne into a completely different character. You don't even see Bruce Wayne from The Dark Knight, which is what I know him from in that movie at all. He's great. Then we have Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo, a Disney Pixar classic, one from my childhood that I really, really enjoy, and is probably going to end up being timeless. I don't know how this movie is going to ever get dated. It's so much fun, no matter how old I get. I really, really enjoy this movie. Finding Dory, the sequel spin-off to Finding Nemo that came out a couple years ago. I like it. The third act gets kind of over the hedgy for me as opposed to a Pixar movie, but it's still really fun. It stays true to kind of the lightheartedness and joy that Finding Nemo brings, and I really like Finding Dory a lot. I have The Flash Season 1. I love this TV show. And The Flash Season 1 and Season 2 and like Season 3 and stuff like that. But Season 1 and 2 are kind of like the peak of the show. Season 4, the recent past season, was okay. And this 5th season I think is okay too. I'm liking it quite a bit. I think it's pretty good. But I got The Flash Season 1. Really, really good. Really, really good superhero show. Fast and Furious 6. I got Furious 7. Fate of the Furious. Those are a little out of order. I don't know why. Fault in Our Stars. Talked a little bit about that. You saw me pick that up. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. One of my favorite... Probably my favorite John Hughes movie, actually, to be honest. I really, really like this movie a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's a great sick day movie as well. Field of Dreams. I thought it was interesting. I really liked it. It wasn't what I was expecting. The Expendables. It's okay. Expendables 2, it didn't really hold my interest that much, to be honest. I haven't even watched the third one. I kind of don't really have that much of an interest at the moment to watch the third one. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I'm not really into this franchise, I'm not going to lie. I like the Harry Potter franchise. I'm not really into the Fantastic Beasts and what they're doing with that franchise. Just being honest. Fan Four Stick, a prank, gay gift from my brother. But I don't hate this movie. I joke around about how much I hate it, but it's the first like hour or so is actually not that bad. It's only when they hit the 1 year later card, and then everything after that it kind of falls apart. The first Fast and Furious, one of the best in the franchise in my opinion. Too Fast, Too Furious, the worst of the franchise in my opinion. I don't even like that movie. I just bought it to complete the franchise. Ugh. Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift, not bad. I enjoyed it, especially the fact that that movie introduces to a completely new set of characters. No one from the first two films is in that movie. It's kind of cool. The fourth Fast and Furious, really the reboot of the franchise. They really hit it with Fast and Furious 5. Fast 5 is really when they really found their stride with what this franchise was going to be. But they start off early with Fast and Furious 4. Dumb and Dumber. Another Jim Carrey classic with Jeff Daniels. These two have fantastic chemistry together. This movie is so much fun. Really funny. I love this comedy so much. And then we have a guilty pleasure of mine simply because I love Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels as these characters so much with Dumb and Dumber 2. Some of this I find funny, some of it I find cringy, some of it I find forced, but overall I like watching this movie. Even though it can be a little offensive at times, and Harry and Lloyd can be more jerks than funny. Dumbo. Edge of 17. Elf, another staple in my household around Christmas time. We quote this movie not just at Christmas, we quote it all year long. There's so many good quotes in this movie. Will Ferrell has the shtick of being like a child mind actor. Everything he does is childlike, and he kind of like throws the tantrums, and he's very much like a overgrown child, but never has that been more effective and better used than in the movie Elf. It's perfect for the character, and it's perfect for the movie. Escape Plan, it was kind of decent. They really go over the top with the jail, though. I kind of would have liked it to be more grounded and a grittier jail, but I enjoy it. Arnold and Sylvester Stallone together is kind of cool. E.T. Phone Home, or just E.T. is what it's called. It's a classic. What do you want me to say? It's good. I like it. Die Hard. Die Hard's really cool. I enjoy it. Great action film. It's really fun. Die Hard with a Vengeance. I actually don't have Die Hard 2 for the fact that I haven't found it yet, and I mean, it's very similar to the first film, so I'm not really seeking it out. I don't love it that much. But Die Hard with a Vengeance was something really different after Die Hard and Die Hard 2, and I really like Die Hard with a Vengeance a lot. Sam Jackson and Bruce Willis as well is pretty cool. Live Free or Die Hard, the fourth Die Hard movie. I liked it. I thought it was okay. It wasn't that bad. I don't know in the fifth one. I haven't even watched it yet. I hear it's that bad, so I don't really want to spend money or seek it out just to see a crappy movie. The Disaster Artist, the making of the worst movie ever, The Room, starring James Franco as Tommy Wiseau. Nailed it. James Franco nailed it. That's all I'll say, and it's awesome. Django Unchained, really good movie. Really good Quentin Tarantino movie, actually. Dirty Dancing, not bad. Although I was watching it back again, I was confused as to, like, she's got to be, like, what, 16, 17, maybe 18, but he's got to be, like, 33. So their relationship was a little weird for me, to be honest. Dodgeball, a movie that people find really funny to talk about. I honestly don't find it that funny. I guess it's just my sense of humor. I thought it was fine. It was okay, but I didn't love it. Duel, Steven Spielberg's first movie that actually ended up premiering on ABC TV in like the 70s. It's really fun, really thrilling, really good. I watched it with my papa, recently, and he really enjoyed it. So, you really see the roots of what Steven Spielberg is going to be in that movie. Or the beginnings of what Steven Spielberg is going to be in that movie. Death Proof by Quentin Tarantino as well. Interesting movie. I like stuff in it, but overall, I don't love everything that they did in the movie. Deepwater Horizon. Despicable Me, really funny movie. I remember seeing this in theaters and really enjoying it. But then they went out of control with the Minions, and yeah, they kind of ruined the side characters in that aspect. Despicable Me 2, people say better than the first one for a lot of people. I think it's funnier than the first one, but I kind of prefer the story of the first one. So it's a little toss. It's a coin flip for me. Despicable Me 3, definitely the weakest of the franchise, of the trilogy, but I still enjoy it, and the villain has a really funny shtick to him. The Departed was really cool. Great Jack Nicholson performance. Great performance from Leonardo DiCaprio. Everyone in this movie really did a really good job, and I really, really like this movie. It's been a while since an ending of a movie had my jaw drop as much as Departed's ending did. Coco. Coco is a recent Pixar movie, but the minute I saw it, it easily jumped up to being one of my favorite Pixar movies. I love what they do with this movie. I love the story of this movie. I love the characters. I love the colors. I love the world. I just love Coco. Coco's great. The Conjuring with a lenticular cover with the famous clapping scene. I'm not a big horror movie guy, but I watched this with a friend, and I actually really, really end up enjoying The Conjuring. I actually like The Conjuring 2 a little bit more. I just haven't been able to find it yet. And then we got Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2. I'm not as high on Deadpool as a lot of people are. I like the character and the movies and stuff like that, but you know, like, I don't find the first one as great as everybody else does. But I wanted the second one because I enjoyed the second one quite a bit, and they were selling this for $25 for 1 and 2, and then they were selling the regular Deadpool 2 for $25 as well, so I was like, why not just get the first one and the second one for the same price, even if I'm going to watch the second one a little bit more than the first one. Alright, and continuing on, we got How to Train Your Dragon. I've talked about that, you know my opinion on that. How to Train Your Dragon 2, like it a little bit more than the first one, you know my opinion on that one. Hugo. Hugo is a story that was read to me by my teacher in grade 5. The movie I thought really captured the story and is a nice little tribute to old cinema, and I really like that. It's something I didn't pick up on when he was reading it to me in the classroom, which is kind of cool. Inception's awesome. What else do I have to say about that? I really like the movie a lot. The Incredibles, fantastic. The Incredibles 2, I don't think it's as great as everybody says, but I still really like it. Independence Day, yes. Just yes. Independence Day is fun. It's a disaster movie. What do you want? How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I grew up with this. It's Jim Carrey again. Like I said, Jim Carrey. Love it. Love this movie. Love Jim Carrey's performance. I can see people's problem with it, especially if you grew up with the original classic Grinch. It does a lot of things different, but I really like the movie. I think it's a lot of fun, and it's a great Christmas time with my family. High School Musical 3. Alright. I own the High School Musical movies. I grew up with these. I'm not going to apologize. I like these movies. I like them quite a bit. And, you know, the whole trilogy, to me, is like Troy Bolton, Zac Efron's character, trying to find out what he wants to do in this future, who he wants to be, and I relate to that, especially when I was in my youth. So,
Trilogy sucks.
I don't care what you say. I own it, and I'm proud. Hot Fuzz, part of the unofficial Cornetto trilogy with the ice cream. I really like this movie. It went in a direction I was not expecting. When it happened, it blew my mind, and I was not ready for it. Liar Liar, Jim Carrey once again. I think Jim Carrey gives one of his best physically comedic performance in this movie. It's definitely over the top, but his physical comedic timing I think is phenomenal in this movie. And it's a sweet little story about a son and his father and stuff like that. Home Alone, childhood classic, childhood favorite. I love Home Alone, and I always will. Home Alone 2. People say Home Alone 2 is just a ripoff of the first film. I don't see it. I can see similarities, but I don't see it being the exact same movie as the first one. And I really like it. As a kid, I preferred this one over the first one, but as I've gotten older, I think I prefer the first one over this one, but I still really love this one. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is another childhood classic of mine. It actually used to freak me out, especially when the kid fell into the bowl of cereal and his dad almost ate him. Yeah, that actually happened. But I really like it, and it's practical effects and practical sets, and I think it looks really cool even to this day. Hook. Hook is a movie I actually saw when I was maybe a year ago, and I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. The Harry Potter collection, I really like these films. I'm not a Potter nut like a lot of people are, but I enjoyed these movies. I thought they were a lot of fun, really cool world to visit, and what a great conclusion to a franchise. Happy Gilmore, another Adam Sandler classic comedy, probably one of my favorites. I like him more than Billy Madison for sure, and I thought it was really funny.
That cover though.
The Hateful Eight, Quentin Tarantino movie, really good. Hitch is forgettable to me. It's okay. It's got a couple moments that I like, but overall, I don't really feel the need to watch this movie again. Hitchcock was really cool. I love, as I mentioned before, Alfred Hitchcock. I really like his films. This is like the making of Psycho, but it's more than that. It's also what was going on in Alfred Hitchcock's life while he was making Psycho, and I really liked getting that window into that period of time and what was going on during that. And Scarlett Johansson's in it as the girl from Psycho, which is really cool. And I really liked Hitchcock a lot, especially because Psycho's one of my favorite films. High School Musical, already mentioned my thoughts on that one. High School Musical 2, like I said, have the old trilogy. I like the whole trilogy. Whatever. The Greatest Showman.
Another Zac Efron movie.
It is another Zac Efron movie, and he sings again. So maybe I have nostalgia for that. But it's a movie with an okay story, fine characters, but phenomenal musical numbers and music in it. Hacksaw Ridge is fantastic. I love Hacksaw Ridge. Andrew Garfield, Mel Gibson directing. I just thought it was really, really, really good. Hang 'em High from Clint Eastwood. I liked this movie. It was slow for sure, but I kind of liked the revenge aspect of it, and it was cool. I enjoyed it. It was nice. It was one of my first westerns that I've seen, and it wasn't too bad. Hannah Montana, the movie. I grew up with Hannah Montana. Hannah Montana is nostalgic for me. I don't care what you say. I'm gonna own this movie. Is it a good movie? That's debatable. As I've gotten older, with taking the nostalgic goggles off, I would probably say no, it's not a good movie. But nonetheless, it's childhood to me, and I like it. Godzilla. I really liked Godzilla. People had complained about not seeing enough Godzilla. That didn't bother me too much. I really liked it. Although one thing that I found weird was Aaron Taylor Johnson and and Elizabeth Olsen play like husband and wife in this movie, but they were brother and sister in Age of Ultron. Try to get that out of your mind. Goonies, Gremlins, and Gremlins 2. Really liked Goonies. Gremlins was awesome. Gremlins 2 was a very different movie from Gremlins, but super funny. I like all three of those films. Gravity with Sandra Bullock was interesting. I really enjoyed it. It looked visually very, very good. I actually haven't seen it in a while. Maybe I should revisit that one, but I remember really liking that movie. Frosty the Snowman. Not technically really a movie, but I have it because Christmas time, and I like to watch it. Game Night. Game Night was a pretty funny comedy, actually. I really enjoyed this movie. I laughed a lot when I saw it in theaters, and Rachel McAdams, I kind of want to own it. That sounds so weird. Get Smart with Steve Carell. Pretty funny movie. I enjoy it. I think it's wacky and weird and crazy, but I really like it. I think it's pretty funny. Get Out Get Out from Jordan Peele. I mean, it's a great movie. What do you expect me to say about Get Out? It's good. I like it a lot. The first Ghostbusters movie, I really liked the Ghostbusters movie. I'm not a huge fan of the Ghostbusters, but I really enjoyed this first movie. I don't really like the second one, and I have yet to see the remake, and I'm not really looking to watch the remake. I don't really care to be honest. Gladiator. Gladiator is awesome. Gladiator is epic. I really liked Gladiator a lot. I thought it was a really great story with great performances and some pretty cool, brutal action in it. God's Not Dead. Like I said, I am a Christian. I'm not a big fan of faith-based films. Sometimes I feel like they miss the point of it, but I felt like God's Not Dead had some really interesting things to say and is one of the better faith-based movies that I've seen, and I really enjoyed watching it and what that movie had to say for some of its runtime. Flash Season 2, probably my favorite season of The Flash. Then we got Flash Season 3, which I got the Steelbook of, which that just fell out. which I think is pretty cool. You got Flash fighting Savitar there. People didn't like the darker direction that this went for the series. I really liked it. I dug it. I thought it was great. I feel like that show is the best at it when it's a drama, which I felt like season four kind of missed. This went too much into Looney Tunes comedy for me, but I still really like Grant Gustin and the whole team of Flash. And there's some really good episodes in this, and it comes with the Crisis on Earth X crossover special with all the episodes on it, which was my complaint of season 3, is that it only gives you the Flash episode of that crossover from this season. You don't get the other ones. So I like that they gave you the whole 3 hours each episode from Arrow, Supergirl, DC's Legends onto this one, and that was good. I was happy they did that. The Fly, talked about The Fly, tragic movie to me. The Fox and the Hound and The Fox and the Hound 2. Really liked The Fox and the Hound. It was my favorite Disney movie at the time for a while, and Fox and the Hound 2 kind of sucks.
Probably my favorite Disney movie.
Fox and the Hound is your favorite Disney movie?
I love that movie.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. The Fugitive, with, my brain's fried now.
Harrison Ford.
Thank you. The Fugitive with Harrison Ford and the other guy from Men in Black. What the heck's his name?
Oh, what is his name?
His old guy.
Oh,
The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. Really good movie. Really suspenseful thriller. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, actually.
I can't remember his name.
Fury with Brad Pitt, who gives a fantastic performance. Shia LaBeouf, who also gives a fantastic performance. And Michael Pena, very different. I've only really seen him in Ant-Man, so seeing him in this movie was a very different performance. I really liked this movie a lot. I thought it was quite good. I actually watched it for the first time 2 days ago. But anyways, I thought it was a pretty good period piece and a pretty good war film. Alright, next we have the Men in Black trilogy. These movies are getting really dated. I really liked the first one. I watched the second one recently, and I did not like it that much. I think it's very poorly written, and the third one I think is okay. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson does with the reboot of that franchise. And then we have the Minority Report. Really good Steven Spielberg movie. Tom Cruise. I really enjoyed it. I thought it had a very fascinating concept, and I liked the story and world of this movie. Mission Impossible 1. Lemony Snicket's Series of Unfortunate Events. Things in here I like more than what they do with the Lemony Snicket Series of Unfortunate Events TV show on Netflix. But it definitely only covers the first 3 books and then makes up its own kind of ending. But I still really like it, and another Jim Carrey performance, so I have to have it. Life of Pi was visually astonishing when I first saw it when I was younger. I think it still holds up very well. I really like this movie a lot. Lilo and Stitch and Lilo and Stitch 2, Stitch Gets a Glitch, another direct-to-DVD video, but I really actually like both of these films still. It's something from my childhood that I still like to this day. The Lion King. What can you say about The Lion King that hasn't been said yet? It's fantastic. It's perfect. It's beautiful. I can't wait to see what they do with the live-action version. Or the remake, because it's not really live-action. The Little Mermaid. One of my favorite Disney movies as well. Ursula freaked me out as a kid, but I can handle this movie now as an adult. I think it's great. I like it a lot. Great music, great visuals, great story. Ariel's cute. What more do you want me to say? Live, Die, Repeat. Really awesome movie. Cool concept. I enjoyed it a lot. Live, Die.
It looks like a trilogy and it sounds like a trilogy.
Doesn't it?
Logan.
Logan is awesome. Logan is great. A great end to the Hugh Jackman Wolverine run. Great X-Men film. Just a really good movie, even outside of the X-Men franchise. I really, 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 really like Logan. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. I thought this movie looked terrible. I thought this movie was going to suck. I loved this movie. This movie was great. This movie was funny. This movie was fun. Great ensemble cast. Great chemistry altogether. I really, really, really liked Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. The Jungle Book. I already talked a little bit about that when we picked it up. The Jurassic Park trilogy. I mean, the first one's a classic. It got me into practical effects. It really did. I love Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies. Jurassic Park, or The Lost World Jurassic Park, I think is fine. I think it's okay. I think it's not as good as the first one, and it's not one that I revisit often, but I think it's not horrible. And then Jurassic Park 3, it is what it is. It's a sci-fi movie that was put on the big screen. A sci-fi channel movie that was put on the big screen. It's definitely very different from the first two films, but it has entertainment value in it. I'd lie if I said I didn't. I'd be lying if I said I hated the movie. Jurassic World, one of the most fun theater experiences I've had, and I really like this movie, despite what people say about it. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I really liked the movie when I first saw it, and it's slowly developed more into a guilty pleasure the more that people talk about it and the more points that they make that I can't argue. Justice League, talk a little bit about that.
You can argue with that.
Kill Bill. Kill Bill is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. I love this movie. I thought it was really, really cool and really different from the other stuff Quentin Tarantino does and has done since. Kill Bill Volume 2, I think, is pretty good as well. I watched Kill Bill and Kill Bill 2 back-to-back, so definitely slows down in Kill Bill Volume 2, so I prefer the first one, but I thought it ended the movies pretty well. Kindergarten Cop, really funny, different Arnold Schwarzenegger performance than he's used to giving, and I really, really had fun with the movie. Kingsman: The Secret Service. I have a lot of fun with this movie as well. I think that Samuel L. Jackson with the lips is awesome. I hear that that's his actual, like, he actually has one, so I'm not going to make fun of it, but I will say that when it first was in the movie, I was not expecting it, so I laughed. But I really liked Kingsman. I thought it was cool, and I don't like the second one, so I don't own it.
You said lips.
Lisp.
You said lips.
Lips? Did I say lips? I meant Sam Jackson Lisp. Sam Jackson's Lisp. The Indiana Jones franchise. I mean, all 4 films. Yes, I count the 4th film. I'm not a hater of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull like many people are. I was, and then I watched it again, and I really only kind of disliked the 3rd act. Everything up to the 3rd act, I actually kind of enjoy the first, like, hour and a bit of this movie. But the Raiders of the Lost Ark is great. Temple of Doom is really darker for my taste, but I still liked it.
Sure.
And
Temple of Doom.
Yeah, Temple of Doom was darker. And Last Crusade is probably my favorite. I have the most fun with Last Crusade.
It's fun.
Inglourious Bastards, really great. A lot of subtitles. Wasn't expecting to read that movie, but nonetheless, I had a great time with it. Inside Out, great Pixar movie. Really enjoy that movie. Instant Family, talked a little bit about Instant Family already. I like it, you know that. Yeah. It, the classic It with Tim Curry. If you haven't seen it, then what I just did makes me look like an idiot even more than it would have if you've seen it. But it's 3 hours long because it was originally a TV short series, so they just put it together as a movie. The stuff with the kids is awesome. The stuff with the adults gets a little tiresome and not as interesting to me. And the new It. I love the new It because it's all the kid stuff. It's not the adult stuff that I felt tiresome in the original. I really, really like what they did in this movie. The kids are fantastic. The whole ensemble cast did a phenomenal job. And I really, really liked it. Great story, great movie. I really liked it. We have the Lord of the Rings theatrical cuts because I don't want to put a whole day aside to watch like 12 or 13 hours of Lord of the Rings. Sometimes I just want to watch the original theatrical cut. And the extended cuts can feel really long because they add a bunch of stuff that was cut out for, I feel, a reason. That being said, actually I don't think this is the extended cut of Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring. I don't think I ever picked that up, but this is Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring. Then I have the extended cuts of Two Towers and also Return of the King. They're fantasy epics, like everybody says, and they're great. The Matrix trilogy, as well as some weird movie that I've never watched it, but the Matrix trilogy, first one's really good. The second two are hated by a lot of people. I don't hate them, but I definitely don't prefer them, if that makes any sense. Man of Steel, really like Man of Steel. I have problems with it that some people do, but overall I really like the movie. The Mask, another Jim Carrey, where he's basically a Looney Tunes cartoon, perfect for Jim Carrey, very 90s, very wacky, and I enjoy the heck out of it. The Man with No Name trilogy, A Few Dollars More, A Fistful of Dollars, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Classic westerns, really enjoyed these movies. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is like 3 hours long, and I thought that movie flew by. I liked that movie a lot. Mary Poppins. Watched this for the first time. Mary Poppins, I mean, for the very first time. Just this past year, because I was going to see Mary Poppins Returns. Never got around to it. I really liked it. I thought the practical effects and magic of it really held up. Megamind. Megamind's hilarious. I love Megamind. I loved it when I was a kid, and I still like it to this day. I think it's a great, great movie, and really funny. Kung Fu Panda. I watch this movie all the time. No, I don't. It's still wrapped up. I think I only bought it to complete the trilogy, but I left the tag on. It was cheap. You can see that. It was cheap. I like it. Kung Fu Panda 2. I really like Kung Fu Panda 2. And Kung Fu Panda 3, the Kung Fu Panda trilogy is what I own. I think they're nice films. I think they're cute. La La Land. I've talked about La La Land on this channel before, but I really love La La Land. Land of the Lost. Weird. Like some of it. Don't like other parts of it. But I own it. So I guess the likes outweigh the dislikes. The Last Samurai. Pretty cool movie, actually. I watched it for the first time recently. I enjoyed it. The Last Starfighter. So bad it's good to me. This movie is ridiculous. This movie is cringy. This movie is... I can't say it's good. I can't say The Last Starfighter is good. I'm sorry for those who love this movie. I know there's people out there that love this movie. I can't say it's good, but I can say it's so weird that it's hard not to enjoy. Legend of Tarzan. Forgettable. The Lego Movie. I've talked about that. I love the Lego Movie. Lego Batman movie. I love the Lego Batman movie. I sometimes have trouble knowing if I like the Lego movie more than the Lego Batman movie or the Lego Batman movie more than the Lego movie. But if you're a Batman fan, this is a must. What they do with the spoofs and how they just get all the Easter eggs of Batman in there is phenomenal. Jackie Brown, very good Quentin Tarantino movie, but not one that I rewatch very often. It's not that rewatchable to me. All 24 official James Bond films. There were so many movies in this. I can't go through them all, but I will say that it goes from Dr. No all the way to Spectre. So if you want to look up the other movies in between those, be my guest. Jaws. I watched Jaws for the first time in grade 11 because I was terrified to watch it. I heard it was horrifying when I was a kid and just vowed I would never watch it. Then I watched it. Now it's one of my favorite movies ever. And even the making of this movie is just as fascinating as the movie itself. And makes the movie even better in my opinion. John Wick. Don't kill that guy's dog. Enough said.
That should be the title.
John Wick 2. I almost like it more than the first one. I love how much it extends on the world and how much more it builds the lore of the John Wick franchise. And I'm really looking forward to John Wick Chapter 3. Jumanji in this really kind of cool steelbook where it's like the game. This is the classic Jumanji. It's getting a little dated, but it's still a lot of fun and I really enjoy the movie. Alright, and next we have Pacific Rim. I like it. I think it's cool. Got some really cool action. Big robot fighting Jaikus? What are they called? Jaku? Yahwehs? I don't even know what they are. But they're fighting these big robots fighting monsters. It's fun. I hate the sequel, but I like this one. Paddington. Paddington is adorable. Paddington is a great family film. But what's even better than Paddington is Paddington 2. I love Paddington 2. I just really enjoy these movies. I think they're sweet. I think they're cute. I think they're touching, and I like watching them with the family, even though my family doesn't like to watch them with me.
Except for me.
Paranorman. Paranorman is a really cool kind of claymation zombie film. I really liked it. I think it looks great. Peter Pan, classic Disney film. What can I say? Pete's Dragon, from my childhood. Really love this movie. Great music. Very, very, very cheesy, but I like it a lot. And the Gogans, the hillbilly people freaked me out as a kid. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. The only Pirates of the Caribbean movie that I own because it's really the only one that I feel like watching and the one that I kind of like. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Really funny, great Thanksgiving movie. A great holiday movie in general. I really like that movie. Watched it for the first time with my family and have liked it ever since. Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Reboot of a franchise that no one ever talked about. And it's great start to the trilogy. Speaking of the trilogy, we got Dawn of the Planet of the Apes up next. Maybe my favorite of the trilogy. I don't know. I always struggle between Dawn and War. I think it might be Dawn, but War of the Planet of the Apes I really, really, really enjoyed as well.
It's my favorite trilogy of all time. I love that trilogy.
It's a great trilogy. Then we have the classic Planet of the Apes. It's goofy nowadays, but still has a pretty cool twist at the end. The Polar Express. a nice Christmas movie. Not one of my favorites, but one that I still like to watch around Christmas time. The Predator, Arnold Schwarzenegger fighting the Predator in the jungle. What more could you want? I love the movie. Predators, not as good as Predator, but I think it's still the better Predator movie that we've gotten out of all the sequels. The Princess Bride, fun movie, great movie, fantasy, wonder, so much fun. I like it a lot. Adventure. What more can you say about that movie? Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it a Christmas film? Is it a Halloween film? Wrong. It's both. Technically, it's both.
No one will know.
This is one of the rare movies that you can watch at Christmas and Halloween, and it makes it very unique and memorable, and it's awesome. No Country for Old Men. Really like this movie. Great thriller. Great performances. Wow. Really good. The Notebook. Romantic not even a comedy, sorry. Romantic drama. But really great performances from Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams. And, I like it. I like it. Sue me. Once Upon a Deadpool, the PG-13 cut of Deadpool 2. And a parody of The Princess Bride in a way. So I like owning that. And it's kind of cool to just have that because it exists. And it's a weird moment in cinema history. Okay, this one. I'm gonna lose some subscribers with this one, but it's okay because I'm gonna own what I like. Always own what you like. Don't apologize for the things that you find entertaining.
No, don't do it. No.
One Direction, This Is Us. I'm a One Direction fan. I'm a One Direction fan. I like their music. It's fun. It's feel good. And you know what? Say what you want about those guys. They went out. They decided to audition for the X Factor. They didn't sit on their butts. They went for the dreams. They achieved their dreams. It's kind of inspirational, and I respect that. And so okay, I don't have an excuse for why I own that, but I do. Mission Impossible 2 sucks. I know I just said I own the One Direction movie, but Mission Impossible 2 does suck. Mission Impossible 3, I really like. Gets a bad rap, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite of the franchise. I really, really like that movie. Ghost Protocol is fantastic. One of the best Mission Impossible films, if not the best to many people, and I can totally see why if it is your favorite. Rogue Nation might be my favorite. I really, really like Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, but it's really hard to dispute Mission Impossible Fallout. Mission Impossible 6 was phenomenal. So much fun. Such great action and stunts. I really, really loved this movie. Then we have Glass, Split, and Unbreakable, which you saw me pick up. We've talked a little bit about that already, so I'll just put that down. Moana. Moana is a Disney movie that I really, really, really like. Great music, but not overabundance of music. I really found the story interesting, and I remember taking my brother to this, expecting nothing, and having a really fun time with it. Although the mid part with the crab who sings about things being shiny was kind of weird. Monster House. Monster House is really cool. A great Halloween film. I like to watch it around Halloween. It's creepy, and it kind of captures the wonder of childlike adventure and mystery. Monsters, Inc., Disney Pixar classic, childhood, love this movie, still want a sequel with Boo, just saying. Although we're getting a Monsters, Inc. TV show apparently for Disney streaming service, so that's interesting. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, pretty cool concept, I enjoyed it. Two spies married, they don't know that they're spies, it's an interesting thing. Mystery Man, a movie ahead of its time, a really funny, at least when I watched it years ago, I remember it being funny when I was younger. Maybe it's juvenile. Maybe I don't find it funny anymore as an adult. But I remember it being like a spoof of the superhero genre, which in a way could probably be ahead of its time by this point. First Blood in a really, really cool steelbook. I really, really like that steelbook a lot. I think it looks beautiful, and First Blood's one of my favorite action films of all time, so I was happy to own that. Even though I already own it, I don't usually like to double dip because I did have First Blood. But I mean, look at that cover, and then look at that cover. Now, I'm one of those people that believe that the cover doesn't matter, the movie's still the same inside, but I really wanted that steelbook, so I double dipped and bought the same movie twice. Rambo First Blood Part 2 gets really cartoony, as well as in Rambo Part 3. Very different films from First Blood. Really makes Rambo just the hero and kind of cartoony, but they're fun action films. Rambo, I can't say is a fun action film, though. Rambo is based on a real event happening in Burma that Sylvester Stallone wanted to bring awareness to what was happening with the government in Burma and its citizens, And for that reason, this film gets really bloody, really gory in a very realistic way, and sometimes it can be hard to watch knowing that that's actually what's happening in Burma. So I wouldn't say it's rewatchable to me, but my goodness, going from Rambo 2 and 3 that feels so cartoony to that film was mind-blowing and kind of shocking. Ready Player One, really cool movie. Just the stuff that they have in this movie, you could look at this for Easter eggs for days. Really cool Spielberg movie, isn't it? It's a really cool Spielberg movie.
Either if you're a game person or a movie person, you're gonna have an incredible time.
I agree.